Hey friends, are you unsure of what to say on social media or what to even send in your weekly emails? Well, what if creating content could be easy? Would you be looking for a shortcut to creating consistent content? Yes, consistent content, because you know consistency is key. Well, let me tell you, you are not alone when you feel like you're struggling on what to post or what to write in emails. And we know that you have that product part of your business down. But as you're listening to this podcast, you probably already know that to get more people to your products, to buy your products, you need to create great content. Oh, I know. I keep saying content, and that's the dreaded C word. And we can't tell you how many product bosses tell us that they want to create great content for their audience and their customers, but they don't know what to say, or they are so busy they can't find the time, or they really, really, really don't want to be the face of their brand. Well, no worries, because that's exactly why we created a year of content. It is your shortcut to creating consistent content that resonates with your audience and brings more loyal customers who can't wait to buy your products. If you want to see how easy this is and how easy it is to create content for your audience and your customers, head to www.ayearofcontent.com.
Welcome to the Product Boss Podcast, where we help product-based businesses grow their sales and improve their strategies.
Hey everyone, I want to introduce you to my co-host and biz bestie, Mina Kunlo-Sitep, an Amazon guru that has built a multi-six-figure product-based business.
In introducing the other half of the Product Boss, Jacqueline Snyder. She has helped launch and grow over 500 fashion apparel and accessory brands, even one of her own.
And together, we share our inventory of secret weapons that will help you dig deep and do the work it takes.
Are you ready? Let's build together.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Product Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Jacqueline Snyder, with my festive co-host, Mina Kunlo-Sitep. Hey, Mina.
Hey, Jacqueline. I see what you did there, festive.
Festive?
I'm a festive gal.
You are a festive gal. And it's a festive season. So this is a really fun episode we're bringing to you today, and it's a different one than any one we've ever done, ever.
I think that if this ends up being a hit, so let us know if you like this type of format for us to play around with. On Instagram, we're at The Product Boss. You can DM us and let us know that you really like the style, because it actually is really interesting, I think, doing it in this sort of way. So you'll see as we get further into the episode.
Okay, so this episode is really interesting because we are bringing back Kevlyn of Festive Gal. You may have heard her episode all the way back in May of 2020. It was episode 155, and she was a pivot and sell story. It was called Even When You Are Scared, Lean In with Kevlyn Walsh of Festive Gal. Well, we've had the honor of working with Kevlyn for almost a year now in our Product Boss Mastermind, and we've had the ability to watch her scale and grow and navigate a year after the pandemic, because the 2020 was an incredible year for her business. And then a lot of what she had told us was, and I bet a lot of you feel this way, is like, was it a fluke? A lot of us come to success. We see our businesses start to do really well. And then we start to doubt ourselves and doubt our effort. Was this a fluke? Is it repeatable? Can I do it again? Was it just because it was 2020? And I will tell you that Mina and I knew in our hearts and souls that Kevlyn's business is not a fluke, would never be one. And we wanted her to know that. And so we had the honor of getting her into our mastermind and working with her. And she is actually going to give you all an update on where she is now.
Yeah, it's been really exciting to see her growth, because we really saw the vision before she did. And then she is really stepping into that vision, making it her own, creating it bigger for herself. And it's been really inspiring to watch. So we're going to let you know what questions we asked her, and she's going to answer these questions, and you will be blown away.
Yeah. And
the growth that she's had is insane.
And we did this differently. So you will hear in this podcast episode what Kevlyn is doing right now. She is super, super busy. She is moving into over a 3,000 square foot warehouse. It is the holiday time. We really wanted to have her on the podcast, but we just couldn't fit our schedules together. So instead, we sent her a bunch of questions, and then she sent us back wonderfully crafted voice memos of where she's at. And so what we're going to do is, if it doesn't sound like a fluid interview, it's because it's not. We are going to ask the questions, so you'll hear our voices, and then you will hear Kevlyn's responses. But stick with us. It's super interesting, really inspiring. And if you are looking to be festive, any sort of gatherings that you're having, any parties, anything that you need a crown for, because Mina and I love crowns, and we wear Festive Gal crowns at all of our launches and our live workshops and our free challenges. Go ahead and check out festivegal.com.
Mm-hmm. And so if this is something you like, we might do this again with more of our masterminders. And for all of you, we love your support. We're so appreciative of you. If you're on our email list, you were opened up to this mystery box giveaway that we did. And in those mystery box giveaways were those crowns that said boss of my business. So from Festive Gal. So I know there's people out there that are sporting them and showing them off while they're listening to the podcast.
And if you're listening to this in real time, you have about 24 hours left to get your application in to join the Product Boss Mastermind in 2022. If your business is making over $250,000 in revenue a year, we are looking for businesses within $250,000, $1 million, and also $1 million plus. So if you're in real time. Now, if you're not, still head to theproductbossmastermind.com and get an application in. If there are spots available, we will review your application and let you know if you have a potential to join this group with incredible people like Kevlyn. So you ready to jump in, Mina?
Yeah, this is super exciting. Okay, so Jacqueline, what was the first question that we asked Kevlyn in order to get this party started?
Okay, Kevlyn. So can you give us a background of your business and where your business is now in 2021?
Okay, so here's a quick recap. I used to be a high school art teacher, and Festive Gal was just a for fun little side project. In 2019, my school district went on strike, and I knew that I wanted to leave the education field. So that year, I quit my teaching job at the end of the school year to pursue Festive Gal full time. I had no idea what to expect, but Festive Gal was making about the equivalent of my teacher salary, so it seemed like the right thing to pursue.
Okay, so that was pre-pandemic, right? So she quit her job in 2019 because Festive Gal was making as much as her teacher's salary. But we all know the pandemic hit in 2020, right? So we're going to get into where she talks about that and how her business really changed, and a recap from that too.
Then the pandemic happened, and in 2020, my business actually blew up and I made multiple six figures, which is crazy considering what a teacher gets paid. And it was pretty much just my mom and I in what we like to call the glitter dungeon, just banging out crowns as fast as we could. And this was before I really had anyone working for me. I really did think the success that I experienced in 2020 was a total fluke, and I was nervous that I wasn't going to be able to repeat that same magic for 2021. But as it turns out, I created even more sales in 2021 because I was able to strategically implement some new things, which is a huge thanks to the mastermind.
So I wanted to talk about this part, Jacqueline, because it's scary, right? I mean, I think when we first even interviewed Kevlyn, she really thought that who is going to be buying crowns in a pandemic?
I mean, when you said
who needs a glittery crown?
When you said scary, I was like, glitter dungeon sounds so scary. Yes. Thing of nightmares, especially for moms.
But just think back. She quit her job. She was a teacher. Mm-hmm. The pandemic hit, and she has this business that she's making crowns for people. And she's thinking, what have I done? And she mentions it in episode 155, and I don't think that she mentions it on these audio recordings. But remember, she bought a house too during that time.
I mean, if we think back, all of us had plans, right? We talked about that a lot. We all had plans, and the world had a different thing coming from us. So I think what I love about Kevlyn is that she leans in, and she's so creative, and she pivots so quickly that she was able to kind of really hone into a niche and scale that niche, And I think a little bit, like she said, it was magic and luck and a lot of glitter. But she did it, and she kept doing more of what people were telling her that they wanted, which were crowns, especially those pandemic birthday crowns.
I know. She kept selling, right? Because there was a bunch of people that were saying to us, nobody's going to buy lingerie in the pandemic. Nobody's going to buy candles. Nobody's going to buy jewelry. But turns out they all do. And they still buy crowns. So that was really exciting. Okay. So she ended up validating her business even in 2020, all the way into 2021. So what's the next question that we had asked her about?
Okay. So Kevlyn, what was your revenue level before and where are you now after joining the mastermind?
I added wholesale as a revenue stream. I already had Etsy and Shopify, and wholesale would be my third octopus leg of my business. I randomly got the opportunity to be in a permanent showroom in Atlanta, and I was super freaked out to go through with signing the contract because I didn't know that much about wholesale or trade shows. And so I asked Jacqueline and Mina for advice, and they really walked me through it and convinced me that they thought I could handle it. And I'm so grateful I decided to go through with the trade show because now my wholesale business has just blown up. And Festive Gal is now in over 200 stores. It's crazy. I'm starting to get text messages or like DMs from family and friends who might be like randomly shopping in their local gift store and they see one of my products and they'll like snap a picture and send it to me and be like, "Oh my God, like I found you. This is so random." And it's just been really fun and it still feels really surreal.
So
amazing.
Whoa.
And she only implemented wholesale in the summer of 2021. And we're recording this, in December. So let's say in less than 6 months, it's way less than 6 months. I'll bet it's like 4 months. She's in over 200 stores nationwide.
Insane. But remember, she already had Etsy and she had Shopify, she mentioned. But it just goes to show you that she really was thinking strategically here, right? Because she said, she was concerned about being a fluke, but how could she really use her momentum in the way that she wanted? And she decided to go with wholesale and really hit it out of the park.
Yeah. And she's going to, she's going to get a little deeper into this, but the thing that we saw is, and here's what I love about our mastermind. And I think our masterminders love it as well. I mean, you and I, we love coaching, and thinking strategically and visioning for people. And what was really interesting is this opportunity came for her. And if she was still running her business on her own, gluing all the things, handling all the glitter, with her team, just kind of trying to figure this out on her own, she may have second guessed herself, or she may have gone about this in a different way, or she might have said, "No, I'm not ready." But by having the support of the group, because she definitely leaned on the masterminders, by talking to you and I, where we strategically coached her, and especially with my background in wholesale, we were able to kind of walk through and talk through all of the potential. But I will tell you that she did so much of this herself because her booth, I don't know if she has this on her Instagram account, but the booth that she had made for this trade show was a game changer. And what she just did is she felt confident in leaning into this new strategy, leaning into this new platform. And she didn't just show up with a table and crowns on the table and hope that people would buy. She really had a presence at the trade show, and that attracted the buyers, which made it easier. So not only does she sell, wholesale online through other platforms, she has this permanent trade show area that she goes to. And now she's can do multiple markets there. That investment's going to pay off. And I mean, isn't that amazing? Like her family and friends are walking around and they see her product in stores.
That was me included because I grew up in Storm Lake, Iowa. It's a town of 10,000 people. And guess what I saw? Her crown.
You didn't tell me?
I posted it in the Voxer to everybody. And I was like, so I messaged on the live feed, she's wearing, this crown that said Jingle All the Way. And it was the owner of Sugar Bowl in Storm Lake. Shout out to Sugar Bowl in Storm Lake, by the way. And I said, "Is that Festive Gal? She's one of my clients." And they said, "It sure is. We met her at the market." And I felt so proud. And I put that.
That's like full circle moment of coaching her to go to the market and then seeing it in your town. She remembered
them too. Yeah. So I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is in my hometown. That's crazy." And, I recognize it as well. But the thing is too, when we're in the mastermind, I remember her specifically coming to us. You get access 2-to-1 access with myself and Jacqueline and Voxer. It was only 2 months out. That's the crazy part. And she was like, "I don't think I can do it. I already feel like I'm drowning in all these things. And I don't know if I can do it."
Do what? The wholesale?
The wholesale market. And so that's the thing about the mastermind is you don't have to make these big decisions alone. So as much as you're looking at this opportunity, you really have to weigh whether or not it is right for you, because there's lots of times where opportunities will sink a business too. So you have to kind of mull around the idea, and it's nice to have people to bounce off the idea with, to come up with booth ideas, to know what different packaging looks like, people who have gone to market, people who really love markets, all those things. And she was able to make the right decision for her. And because at the end of the day, you're the boss of your business and you make the right decisions for yourself. And we can only coach you so far, and your mastermind can give you feedback. But you're not making any of these big decisions alone. And that is the thing that is really important to remember. The secret, sauce of a mastermind is that it's the power of the people. It's so helpful.
Absolutely. Okay. So what's the next question we asked her?
So the next question is about team. What does your team look like now?
I am happy to report that I finally expanded my team beyond just my mom and I. I was going crazy trying to do everything myself, and there just wasn't enough hours in a day to get everything done. And I realized that if I was going to scale this business, I needed to clone myself. I needed to clone myself like 3 times. I needed at least 3 more Kevlyns. So I did just that with my first hire, who I trained to basically run my business for me. So now I can actually go out of town on vacation and the ship doesn't sink. And I currently have a team of 8 people, which is a mix of full-time, part-time, and contractors. And everyone is just helping fill the gaps in my business so that I'm not doing all the things. And it's clear that the true key to scaling your business is just giving up control and allowing other people to take tasks off your plate. So for 2022, I want to focus on doing the tasks that only I can do, which is the creative vision and the direction of Festive Gal. I have so many ideas, but I just frequently get sucked into doing silly tasks that someone else could easily be doing. So for next year, I just really want to focus on staying the course and spending my time on high-level things that are truly within my zone of genius.
I love it. I wanted to play that specifically. If you could all, take it back 30 seconds for all of you. 30 seconds twice. I don't know how the podcast app works.
60 seconds?
Twice. But they only let you go
you
backwards.
Mean rewind.
Okay. Yeah, rewind. Because this is a sticking point for people. They will not hire when they're not ready. And you have to hire when you're not ready. That is the thing with being able to grow your business, is that it takes more than just you.
Mm-hmm. And we know this. When I started my product business, my mom and my sister were my go-tos of like helping me sew little charms on, like my little cuffs couture charms onto my cuffs, because it was like I could get things sewn by my sewers, but then they wouldn't do that. And I was like, Mom, can you help me? And so I think a lot of times when we start our businesses, we lean into family, typically, maybe friends or neighbors. But I think family is one of the first go-tos. And then if you want to grow past that, there's only so much we can do. There's only so much you can do as a business owner. And no matter what level of business you're in right now, because remember, Kevlyn started off as a baby business on Etsy, as a teacher, as a side hustle. And she got it to a point, and then she really, I think, felt in her heart that was the move for her, that she saw that it could go, if she went all in, that she could get it to where she wanted it to be. And look at her. What is it? Who knows how many years it's been since 2018. 2
what it feels like is very different than what it actually was. But it's been a lot of things happening since then.
Yeah. And her business is massive, and she's in 200 stores, and she's got a permanent space in a showroom, and she's got her, her Shopify site up and where she sells, and she's really refined how she does business, and she's not doing it all in the glitter dungeon anymore. She was able to hire that team. And so for any of you, it doesn't matter what revenue level you're at. If this is something that you want to grow and build, I want to remind you that it's not all you. You don't have to do it all, and it can be easy. It doesn't have to be complicated or overwhelming. I know a lot of times people are like, well, I don't want to manage a team, or I don't want to grow a team. Well, just start with one person. See how it goes. And then if it goes and you learn how to be a boss and manage people, and they can take stuff off your plate, when you find more things off of your plate, then you'll find other things you want to get off of your plate, and you'll probably hire another person.
Yeah. But it's like she said, though, you're doing it so you can work from your zone of genius, right? She said that she wants to be working out of creative design and especially for product people, that's super important because we were the ones who do the research and the development and expanding the business and being the boss of our businesses. So, really is like what Jacqueline said, not to overwhelm you. It's meant so you can step into your zone of genius and really work from your strengths.
I'm going to say that's homework for all of you. Write down in a dream world what your zone of genius would be. So if you still had your business functioning and it was going forward, what would be the things that you want to do right now? Like, what are the things you're like, I don't want to move away from this. I want to keep this. I love doing this. And then what would be the things that you don't want to do? And then those would be where you would first hire when you can hire.
And I want all of you to read, I think it's Good to Great. I think this is the book that talks about that. There's zone of, I can't remember what the first zone is. It might be incompetence, right? The things you're not good at. Then there's zone of competence, which you are good at, which most people will stick to and do forever because they feel like I'm good at this. And, only I can do this and I don't mind it. Then there's zone of genius. That's the things that only you can do. And so there's a big difference between zone of competence and zone of genius. So keep that in mind as you're dreaming for yourself. Like, what is it that really lights you up that only you can do? We all have something special to bring into this world, and what really feels like what you want to do.
Absolutely. Question for you, Product Boss. How much time, effort, and money do you spend promoting your business each year? Do you feel like it's paying off? Are you getting tons of visibility, or do you feel like you're struggling to get more eyes on your products? This is exactly why we created the Small Business Shopping Directory. The Small Business Shopping Directory is an all-in-one place for customers to shop, discover, and support small product businesses every day. It's a place for you to be visible to new customers and get discovered. The Small Business Shopping Directory is the #1 small product-based business directory that gets your business in front of thousands of customers who want to support and buy from small businesses just like yours. It's a perfect way to get your products in front of eager buyers this season without having to spend thousands on ads. Our goal is to get you more visibility and to get more eyes on your business. And here's the best part. We're doing this together. The directory is a way for small businesses like yours to join forces and create a big impact because customers can finally find you online and offline. They can support you with their purchasing power. It will take all of us to create this movement of supporting small, and we can do it together. So, are you in? We invite you to join the Small Business Shopping Directory. This is your personal invitation to get listed today. You can get up and running in just minutes. So don't wait. You can join now and get your listing by heading to shop1in5.com and click on the link to get listed.
So the next question that we had for Kevlyn is just exactly what we're talking about, visioning for the future. What is she looking forward to in 2022?
For 2022, I'm most excited about my new warehouse space that I just signed the lease on and I'm currently moving into. Like as we speak, I'm going to be moving all of my stuff next week. And I'm going from my cute little home studio, which is about 600 square feet when you also add in my garage, to now a 3,200 square foot warehouse space. And I realized that the warehouse was the next step when I accidentally overordered shipping supplies and I had 5 pallets of cardboard boxes show up in my driveway and I literally had nowhere to put them. And of course, the weather forecast said that rain was coming. I had to frantically rent a 10 by 30 storage unit just to clear out my driveway and it was super stressful. So after that experience, I knew the search for a warehouse needed to begin. And signing the lease on this warehouse space was freaking terrifying. There was literally language in it that said along the lines of, if you go bankrupt and can't pay your rent, we will come after your personal assets to make sure that you can still pay your rent. And this is apparently very common language in a commercial lease. And I had nightmares like, what if I get hit by a bus and go into a coma and I can't pay my warehouse rent? And it was really scary. But then in the mastermind, Jacqueline gave us all a really great pep talk just right at the moment that I needed it. And actually, Jacqueline had no idea that I had all of this going on in my life with my business and that I was super freaked out about, having the money to pay for my warehouse space. And this is a quote that she said, and this is a direct quote because I wrote it down after she said it. She said, "Just go and make the money you need to pay for the things that you need. You can do it. Some of it's going to be magic. Some of it's going to be by chance. And some of it's going to be from your hard work, sweat, and hopefully not tears." I just love that quote. Thank you for saying that, Jacqueline. And while having employees and now this huge overhead of my warehouse space is scary, having this mindset of I am the boss of my business and I can make the money I need, it just helps me feel a lot more in control.
So shout out to Jacqueline right there, right?
That's a good quote.
All right. Somebody type that out for us. And so that's the thing, right? I love hearing that because the thing is, it is all scary, everybody. It is really scary. And so there's times when you have somebody say something or you have some encouragement or, you have Jacqueline in your ear or this podcast in your ear that you do have to make a big step forward. And it can feel really scary, but all entrepreneurship is very scary in my mind.
Yeah. And I think part of my superpower, and I talk about scarcity a bunch, but the other side, which is the ironic side, is that I also feel like I can make the money I need to make. Like you give me a goal and I can go figure it out. And so that's something that, especially working so closely with our masterminders, sometimes I step into that and share that with them. And I think that's what I want all of you also to think and remember that is that you have all done something really special, which is come up with a business idea, come up with a product, and you've actually been able to make it. And someone has paid you even a single dollar for it. Okay. Like more than the lemonade stand that we did as kids. But even now, like if you sold your first crochet knit stuffy, or you sold your first pair of earrings, or you sold your first, handmade shawl, like congratulations, because you made something and sold it and exchanged it for money. And so if you have goals, figure out how you can continue to keep selling what you make to make more of it, right? We all have that ability. It's like our own little magic wand that we can do it. And you just have to believe in yourself. So I'm glad that was so impactful for Kevlyn as well.
Yes. And that's the power of the mastermind as well, which brings us to our very last question. And this one is the most exciting one.
For you and me.
And everybody else, because I truly believe that, a mastermind is life-changing and business-changing and life-giving and all the things. So the next question is, how has being in the mastermind helped you or changed your business? Okay.
Being in the mastermind has definitely helped me feel not so alone. Like I can't talk to my friends and family about my business because they just can't relate. I mean, who am I going to celebrate a 50K month with? I want to celebrate that, but that's most people's salary in a year. And what's so great is that in the mastermind, there's women who are crushing it, women who I look up to. I've been able to find role models as well as friends and mentors. I've been able to connect with these women who are in the same chapter of their business as me. We're all making money, growing our teams, and making scary big girl decisions and supporting each other along the way.
Boom. Mic drop.
And I will say we have husband and wife couples in there. We have gentlemen in there. Mm-hmm. We have all people are welcome into our mastermind. And so, Mina and I do attract a lot of women to our world and that we coach. Mm-hmm. It's probably based on the way that we coach. And we have amazing men that own businesses, amazing people that own businesses. And there's couples in there. I mean, we've worked with since the very beginning. Right. It's our very first mastermind. We've had couples in there because they're business partners.
Yeah. Right. And I think that more, even beyond that, I think it's the point is that we've attracted people that are really about collaboration, about encouragement, and about collective success. So if it is, and we've talked about this in previous episodes, where we don't really attract a lot of people that thrive off of competition, because that's not how we run things, right? So you heard Kevlyn in this short little snippet talk about how everybody is, encouraging each other and inspiring each other. And that's just in their daily doings, right? They're just amazing people. So, and they're people that want a higher level of support. They want a higher level of running their businesses, and they all want to step into being the bosses of their business, whether they're a couple or if they are a partnership or just them being a solo person. It's all these people that want to surround themselves with the people that want that type of trajectory. They want that type of alignment with the dream that they have for themselves too. And I think that's really important, is surrounding yourself with those people that really are wanting that in their lives too.
Yeah, we just had a masterminder celebrate hitting her first $100,000 month, which is amazing, right?
Yeah,
we've had masterminders, hit multi six figures more than they've ever hit. We've had other masterminders that are multi seven figures, so they're $1 million, $2 million businesses, and they've decided, I'm not coming to the office on Fridays, or I'm taking off, or I'm going on, I'm taking off the whole month, for vacation. And it's just so supportive to see all the different levels of business within our mastermind, because there are different levels and there's different teams and there's different types of product businesses that they all have. But the win is something, you and I even look for this, like in our own businesses, we scale, it's finding that community of other people to share these wins with. But the other side of this is to navigate growth. So a couple conversations that are happening right now, literally we're getting messages left and right because it's the holiday season. Somebody has this crazy return that they want to return. Like there's a customer for one of our product boss masterminders, somebody wants to return something. And it said all over the place, non-refundable final sale. And this person still wants to return it. I'm sure a lot of you have had customer service things. Well, instead of navigating that on your own or trying to figure out customer service on your own, this person had the ability to come to the group and ask the question, and everyone gave their feedback on how to respond. And this person responded. And now I guess the customer service thing has popped back up, and they're like, they weren't so happy with the response. And right now I'm watching, 10, 12 messages go through on my phone where people are giving her advice. So think about that. When something hard comes up, and this actually happened as like an SOS in the middle of one of our weekly calls, but when something hard comes up and you're not sure what to do right now, if you don't have the support of a community or support of a mastermind, for example, who do you turn to? Who do you ask? Like, do you ask your husband or your spouse or your partner?
But take it a step further. Like, I think for me, decision-making is easy. Like, it's easy to say no a lot of the times. It's the follow through of it. So right now, right? So she made the decision to say this was a final sale. But now, do you stick to your guns? That's the harder part in my mind.
For me, it's not that easy to say no. It's easier to say yes. So it just depends on who you are, right? But you're right. It's the follow.
Say yes, though. But in that scenario, would you have given a refund?
I probably would have been, if I was by myself, I probably would have been scared and been like, fine, I just want to keep this one customer happy. If I was by myself doing this, probably, because I get scared sometimes of customers.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it is nice to have people walk through the decision with, and then it's nice to have people encourage you as you follow through with the decision.
Right.
Because it's keeping to your word a lot of the times. And it's the emotional part of being a boss of your business. The mastermind, there's strategy, there's, camaraderie, there's all of it. But there's also the emotional side of the wins. Like the wins are so important to keep you going because we all work very, very hard. We all have teams. We all have things that keep us up at night that we can't talk to about with anybody else, whether it's a $100,000, month celebrating that, or $50,000 month, or if it's a needing to fire an employee.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Because yes, by giving advice, we said, no, I said, and my coaching was, no, don't give her the refund. And here are some ideas of what you can respond. But if it was by myself, I would have been like, oh, I don't know. And the same with employees, right? We've helped coach a lot of our masterminders and the support of the fellow masterminders on employees that just were not doing their job or weren't vibing well or were creating chaos. And I'm hands down, I'm someone who's kept employees on longer than I should have by myself. But when you have a mastermind to bounce ideas off of, I mean, luckily I have you as my partner, but a lot of us are operating on our own. And so then you're not sure what's the right decision. So I just think just the support, like you said, just the celebration, because yes, whether you're making $2,000 a month or $200,000 a month, you deserve to be celebrated, and you deserve to celebrate that with other people. And then when it's hard and the struggle gets real, you also deserve to be surrounded by people who get it, that are going through similar things, and that can give you advice that aligns from a product-based space. Because there's masterminds that have mixed groups of, product and service and all the things. We're a service-based company too, but let me tell you, we were product bosses originally, and Lena still is. And advice from service people to product people is like speaking two different languages and trying to come out with like the correct communication.
Potentially two different dialects of the same language, like they're similar, but not, So it's just a different dialect in my mind, because it's just like, okay, it's just different worries. For little labels, I worry about inventory. I've had shortages. I worry about the space and the storage. I worry about inventory. I worry about
shipping times,
supply chain. I worry about those customers, and it's just different than a service-based one. And I think that that's what we all have to remember, is that there's all different levels of and different variations. So different variations of worries between service-based and product-based. And you need to surround yourself with the same people that have those same worries. Otherwise, you will quit. It's really hard not to quit if you don't have anybody to help you keep moving forward, And then the other thing too is that the different variations being, like we said before, boss worries are different than employee worries. They simply are. And you need people aside from your employees that you can talk to about certain things. You don't talk to your employees about these problems. I mean, they would be the last people you should probably be talking about for upcoming strategy in a way, right? About certain things. And I think that it's important. It almost should be automatically put onto a business expense of up-leveling the business owner, because, entrepreneurship, it requires you to up-level yourself in an educational way.
Yeah. And we have heard employees that get scared of growth. And we've heard from our fellow masterminders certain things that they've said, I'm going to do this.
People don't like change.
Yeah.
People don't.
Like we've had masterminders get really excited about something really big or a great opportunity or change or structure even. And their team has pushed back and said, nope, not a good idea. Nope, don't want to do that, because they've been so used to having that kind of almost collaborative relationship. And a lot of the masterminders that work with us want to level up into being the boss of their business. So where they have the ability to create strategy, come up with strategy, and then let their team know, this is where we're going. This is the journey. You all can do your jobs to get there, but this is what I want. And so no matter where you are on your journey, if it sounds like you, if it doesn't sound like you, it's okay. We are all learning. But we invite you to apply to be considered to the Product Boss Mastermind. Right now, we are kicking off in January, which we have 4 times a year in our masterminds. It's called the $1 Million Boot Camp. And we do a visioning day. We do a next 90 strategic plan. We meet in small group cohorts, because you will also be placed in small group cohorts of other business owners at similar revenue levels and team structures as you. And the whole month of January is going to be about planning and visioning for what you want 2022 to look like. So if this sounds like something you want, and like Mina said, this is a write-off, my friends. So if you're profitable and you're looking for write-offs, no matter when you apply for courses or masterminds and you pay for those, they're all write-offs or business expenses. We invite you to apply at theproductbossmastermind.com. Now, here's the thing I want to say. If you're listening to this in the future and you're like, oh, it's past January and can I still apply? We are always accepting applications, and our scaling specialists will reach out to you when we get your application. And if you qualify, they will reach out to you and let you know if and when a spot is opening up for you to come join this incredible group of fellow product bosses. And we want to be a part of your journey, and we want to, a year from now, 2 years from now, we want to be able to share on the podcast too what amazing things you have done and growth, because you get to listen to it and reflect back and celebrate the wins of your growth as well.
Yeah. And you might see a mastermind in your future. So right now, what we're looking for is 250 all the way up to multiple millions. So if you're going to apply, you do have to qualify for that level, because those are what the small group cohorts are based around in our particular mastermind. And we place people in the same cohorts because of the similar struggles that happen in those different levels. But we are always open to applications. We just not are always having an open spot is what it is.
And you do get to interact as a bigger group too. So there are weekly calls that the entire group comes together. And then there are smaller group meets and also smaller group Voxer access, so that you can feel or have the ability to be vulnerable or share certain things that maybe you want to share with just a handful of people versus a larger group. But this group is incredible and collaborative. We have a physical store Voxer chain that they all talk about. A lot of people who have stores and what they have to navigate in that. There's marketing one where they're all talking about all different marketing tactics. There's just so many different variations of this. And so if you feel like this sounds just like what you need to level up as a business owner, we invite you to apply.
And maybe someday you'll be on the podcast doing snippets of your updates, just like Kevlyn is, right? Because this has been just a fun episode to do. I'm super proud of Kevlyn. I'm sure the whole mastermind group will be cheering her on as we do these different formats of the podcast, which I think that when this is coming out, Jacqueline, no, never mind. Secret projects, you all, we are rebranding the podcast. And so you'll start to see like really fun things happen on the podcast. So thanks so much, everybody, for listening, and reach out to Kevlyn at festive.gal on Instagram and let her know that you listened to her podcast episode and how inspiring she is.
And buy a crown, my friends. Go get boss of my business and let's do this together in 2022. Thank you for being here and listening all the way through the Product Boss podcast. If you love our show and it has helped you in any way in your business, would you mind doing 2 things for us? Subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode, and leave us a review. Reviews help other product entrepreneurs know that this is the place to be to grow their businesses and realize that they're not alone. And we know that you all know that a 5-star and honest review helps you sell more products to more people. So you know that your reviews help us reach more listeners around the world. Remember, what we give is what we receive, and we are all about helping each other in the Product Boss community. We are all in this together. We would be so appreciative of you if you could take the time right now to subscribe, leave a review, and even share this episode on social or someone you know so we can impact more lives. And remember, subscribing means that you will get notified each time we release a new episode so you never miss a thing. You have helped us grow and climb into the top 10 of all marketing podcasts, and together we can keep climbing. Thank you, friends. And remember, there is room at the top for all of us. This episode is brought to you by the Shop 1 in 5 Pledge and Small Business Shopping Directory. It's a commitment to make 1 in 5 of your purchases from a small business online or offline. So head to shop1in5.com to take the pledge. And friend, while you are there, check out and shop from hundreds of small businesses in the Small Business Shopping Directory. It's the go-to directory to discover, support, and shop small businesses all in one place. Head to shop1in5.com.